Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching Today I Found Out, and in the video today we're answering a viewer question. Melissa asks, is honey considered vegan? Just before we get started, I do want to say that this video is brought to you by Trello. Trello is a free organizational collaborative tool. I've been using Trello for nearly a year, organizing this YouTube channel as well as my other YouTube channels as well. It's really a really neat piece of organizational software. I'm going to tell you more about Trello later in this video, but for now, let's just get started. There's a reason there's the expression, busy as a bee. These buzzing insects' entire lives are dedicated to making sure the hive keeps humming and the next generation of bees are born. Worker bees are consistently building, cleaning, and protecting their home. When they are not tending to the hive, they are out foraging for food to feed the queen and the drones. This food is a mixture of pollen, nectar, water, and plant sap, which is eventually transformed into a honey. This is a favorite treat for both humans and bees alike. With vegan diets on the rise, rules and questions around this particular lifestyle are constantly being talked about. Perhaps one of the most debated issues among vegans is the question of honey. By nearly every definition, honey is an animal byproduct created through chemical processes. First, the worker bees go out into the world to forage for the sugary fluid secreted by plants that's known as nectar. Traveling up to 6 miles, when the bees find nectar, they suck it up with their long tube-like tongue and store it in a secondary stomach known as the crop. Due to being able to hold its own weight, that's approximately 70 milligrams of nectar, bees can visit up to 1,500 flowers in one nectar-searching trip. When the bee returns to the hive, it disposes of the collected nectar by regurgitating it into the mouth of another bee, who regurgitates it to another bee, and so on until it finally ends up in a honeycomb. This whole regurgitating process allows the nectar to be broken down by the enzymes in the bees' stomachs, which makes it more suitable for long-term storage. When the partially digested nectar is in the honeycomb, bees speed the evaporation process by fanning their wings rapidly. When it's sufficiently dry, the bees seal the honeycomb with a secretion from its abdomen, which we know of as beeswax. Sealed from air and moisture, and thanks to some of its innate properties, honey can last, for all practical purposes, forever, and provides a perfect food source for the hive during the harsh winter months. Of course, it also provides a delicious sweet treat for humans and other animals. Okay, so in 1944, Donald Watson essentially created the modern vegan movement by organizing the Vegan Society. The word vegan was taken from the beginning and ending of the word vegetarian. His motive for doing so was his affinity for animal life, believing in not only abstaining from consuming animal flesh, but also animal byproducts that had brought unjust harm to the animals. As expressed in Watson's original treatise on being vegan, veganism is a way of living which excludes all forms of exploitation of and cruelty to the animal kingdom. It applies to the exclusion of flesh, fish, fowl, eggs, honey, and animal milk. According to Watson, taking honey from a hive hurts bees in that it is essentially stealing a much-needed food item from an animal. Additionally, commercial beehives control the process of honey making, stacking them in removable trays, trapping the queen in a certain part of the hive, and smoking out hives when retrieving the honey. In terms of Watson's original intention, honey cannot be vegan due to the methods used by commercial beekeeping. But there are those who argue that if one wants to truly adhere to the original vegan lifestyle, then eating properly produced honey is okay. You see, since bees produce the honey naturally, cultivating it in a way that doesn't harm the bees does allow it to be vegan. This means constructing hives that are like the ones the bees have in the wild, and then waiting for a wild swarm of bees to make it their home. Additionally, care must be taken to leave the bees plenty of honey for their own needs. There's also no use of smoke, antibiotics, or chemicals on the hives. In order to solve the problem of opening the hives and disturbing the bees, in order to collect the honey, natural beekeepers invented a tap mechanism that allows excess honey to simply drip into a tube and out of the hive. While many vegans abstain from all animal byproducts simply on principle, or at least attempt to, something that is exceptionally difficult, if not impossible, even for the best-intentioned individual, the modern vegan movement that was born in 1944 focused primarily on the suffering of animals as the key point. If honey can be obtained without making the bees suffer in any way, then in theory it could be part of the vegan diet based on these precepts. On the other hand, some vegans think this doesn't matter at all, as it's generally thought that insects cannot feel pain, or at least are probably not consciously aware of it, even if their brains do react to such inputs. Beyond this, the minimal number of bees harmed in the production of honey for human consumption is seemingly no more than the number of insects harmed in the production of vegetables, even of the organic variety. From all of this, it's perhaps no surprise that whether honey is considered vegan or not varies depending on one's exact definition of vegan, which in turn varies from vegan to vegan and group to group. For instance, Vegan Outreach and Vegan Action both consider honey consumption to be acceptable for vegans, leaving it as a matter of personal choice, while the American Vegan Society does not. So I really hope you enjoyed that video, and just before we finish today, I'd love to tell you a bit about Trello. Trello is a free collaborative organizational tool which helps you organize your projects on your computer or your mobile phone. Now, you've previously heard me talk about Trello. I think I first tried it about a year ago, and I am still using their amazing free app to this day. I use it on my phone, I use it on my computer, I use it on my laptop. Everything synchronizes super nicely. Basically, everything that I do and everywhere I go in my life now, it's neatly organized by Trello. So what I've done is I've set up a bunch of different boards for different projects, and within these boards you have different cards, and basically every day I just go through and knock off as many of those different cards as possible, sort of like a really advanced to-do list. Now, before this, I was using basically a note-taking app and using the strike-through feature, which wasn't exactly the most brilliant way to get things done, so Trello was a huge step up in organization for me. Now, as I mentioned when I first started working with Trello, I am not just using this service because they are a sponsor. They've genuinely become a huge part of my Today I Found Out workflow and all of my workflows for my other channels as well. So whether you need better organization for a work project, a creative project, or just your life in general, I really would recommend that you check out Trello. So as I mentioned, I got a bunch of boards set up. I got the cards within there. Another cool feature is you can attach PDFs to the cards. So I'll have like a card for a Today I Found Out video, and then I'll have like a PDF attached to that, which might be the script, it might be some notes about the video. It's basically just a really neat, everything can be enclosed within the app. And of course, it's collaborative as well, so I can share my progress with the team. Plus, it's all totally customizable, so it even looks good. So, why not? Trello is just a better way to be organized. It's way better than writing things down on a piece of paper or using Notepad or something like that. And the core features, and that's all that I use, by the way, it's all 100% free. I've never paid for it. So, why not give it a try? You have nothing to lose. But please do go through our link, which is trello.com/brainfood, as that helps support the show. There's also a link in the description below. So thank you to Trello for sponsoring, and thank you for watching.